Hey everybody, and welcome to the weekly Scopes from the 18th to the 24th of February. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's weekly Scopes. If you've heard this before, you can skip, but this is just the intro on how I formulate these astrology weekly readings. I use astrology and my intuition to give you advice how you can practically use the knowledge of the stars and the planets and apply them to your life. So my weekly Scopes are all based on GMT time and on Vedic constellational astrology. So now I'm just going to explain what Vedic constellation astrology is and how it differs from Western astrology. So the precession of the equinox is sort of like something that happens in astronomy and astrology, where the Earth's axis undergoes a slow circular motion over 26,000 years, and basically this means that this motion causes a shift in the position of the equinoxes and also the calculation Vedic and Western astrologies use. So around 2,000 years ago, the tropical and sidereal Vedic astrology signs of astrology were aligned in the same position. So if the sun was in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, it was also in the constellation of Scorpio in Western astrology. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, this has caused a gradual westward sort of like drift of the tropical Western signs. So basically these signs, the Western signs, shift 1 degree with every 72 years. So as a result of this ongoing shift, when Western astrology says the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, it's typically in the constellation of Aquarius. Still, this is because the degree, orb and the date for Western and Vedic astrology are 24 degrees, 24 days apart. So in Western astrology, the sun enters the constellation of Pisces around the 19th of February each year, but actually the sun doesn't arrive into the constellation of Pisces until the 13th to the 15th of March each year, and Vedic astrology takes this into account because it's based on the fixed star positions, and Vedic astrologers use sidereal calculations. So as a result, Vedic astrology takes into account the actual positions of the constellations in the sky at any given time, and also considers the precession of the equinox. But in terms of Western astrology follows the tropical zodiac, which is based on the seasons rather than fixed star positions. Western astrologers also do not directly account for the precession of the equinox in their calculations as well, so this results in slightly different calculations and interpretations that are given whether we're using Western astrology or Vedic astrology. So I hope I explained that right. And also, moon void, of course, happens about 2 or 3 times a week. So moon void, of course, is basically a period when some astrologers say it's best to put off important things. This is because the moon isn't making any major aspects to any other planets like conjunction, square, opposition, but it's still making semi-sextiles and quintiles and stuff. So if you feel like it, you can use these moon void, of course, periods for self-reflection, for rest and recovery. It can make us feel more uncertain and confused. I don't really subscribe to that because to me the world is, it's how can I explain it? If we put everything off, and although it does influence us, we can still override it, sort of thing, because the moon is still making minor aspects which are more spiritual and esoteric in nature, that are just wanting us to go deeper within ourselves. So it's more of an inward energy. So moon void, of course, for me is all about just slowing things down if you need to, thinking before you sign important contracts and stuff, but also just trying your best to be aware, because sometimes you can't cancel that important meeting, you can't cancel that important sort of date and stuff. So just being aware, taking your time to react and making responses, and this can just make you feel more centered and deal with this energy that happens 2 or 4 times each week a bit more comfortably. So that's all about moon void, of course. So now to this week's horoscope. So today on the 18th of February, the moon enters void of course at 11:22. The moon also enters Gemini. So the moon in Gemini brings a sort of like ability for us to be more curious, flexible and quicker in our thinking and reaction time, so we can be more witty and humorous in conversations, but can also lead to gossiping and people spreading what they think is the truth when it is like embellished truth or even lies at worst. So just watch out for that, because this can cause problems and tension in relationships and maybe break down some relationships and stuff like that. So just watch what you repeat, and if you are affected by gossip, be gentle with yourself and know that sometimes people will always talk, and the best that we can do is to train ourselves to just ignore it unless it's constructive criticism or unless there's truth in what they're saying, and we can always improve. But within doing that, always be gentle, and self-love is important, especially as you commit to healing your emotional, spiritual and psychological wounds over a lifetime. It's very important that you be gentle, especially when you're making mistakes, and it can be hard to admit you make mistakes and face your shadow and keep on making the mistakes when you don't want to do it anymore. But just know that habits are sometimes built up and automatic reactions take a while to unlearn. So just be gentle with yourself and also give grace to others. I know it can be hard to forgive people when they talk smack and crack and crap about us, but we must try and cultivate as much peace as we can in our lives. So the best use of the moon in Gemini is for networking, researching and doing any research or any detailed work that maybe you've been putting off. On the 19th of February, Chiron makes a conjunction to the moon's north node. The moon void of course starts again at 10:01. So positively, Chiron in astrology represents our wounds, the deep-seated ones from our past lives, from our childhood, from our heartbreaks, and all the other unprocessed trauma we've got within ourselves. The moon's north node represents the direction we need to take in life. So unless we deal with our wounds, we can't get to the direction we need to take, because we're blocked. We stay in our comfort zone. We often just keep on repeating the same cycles in our life. So this energy helps us to break free from our comfort zone and our self-destructive cycles and confront our past wounds and traumas head on, whether they be spiritual, emotional, to do with religious or culture, or things our primary caregivers, our parents did to us, things our brothers or sisters or siblings said, things other people did to us, lovers, our first friends and just stuff like that. Just dealing with all that pain that typically holds us back from being who we truly want to be. So this pain allows us to unearth these deep-seated wounds, and it can be overwhelming and challenging and uncomfortable at times. It is not easy as we confront our vulnerabilities and face the pain we've been avoiding, but we have to be open to explore our emotional depths and be open to letting ourselves release ourselves from the many prisoners in our minds that get there because of these unresolved traumas, which result from the unprocessed experiences that we have in our life. So this is a good time to really engage in self-reflection and practices that support healing, being gentle with yourself, seeking out professionals and other people who can help you, having more self-compassion for yourself as well, and just pushing yourself to do that deep soul work and examine the wounds that have been holding you back from fully embracing your spiritual path. It can bring you an increased sense of awareness, especially spiritual and divine awareness, allowing you to just let go of the beliefs and patterns and start working through any addictions, drug or alcohol, any that you may have, or continue that work, and then just allow yourself to just be more open to engaging in meditation and prayer and other nurturing activities whichever suits your temperament that can help you heal. By quieting our minds and opening our hearts, we can create a space for divine healing to flow through us, and it invites us to explore the concept of forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness on a deeper level. And as we examine these wounds and old pain, we can let go of the resentment and anger and the unforgiveness. And forgiveness is not about condoning or forgetting what has happened, but rather a means of freeing yourself from the burden of carrying that emotional weight. And as someone who has carried it, and it weren't really to do with unforgiveness. Unforgiveness of myself. That was my biggest one, and not letting things go and just ruminating on things I've not changed. And so I know how important it is to forgive yourself of the shame and guilt, and how it takes ages. It took me a couple of decades, and it's still a process. So just be gentle on yourself. It's not easy work. This is why I always say it's lifelong work. I want to drum that into people, because there's no quick fix. They don't last. We go on a diet, we lose the weight, 6 months on, it's back on. We need long-term solutions, and the long-term solutions take time. So anyway, by forgiving yourself and others, you open up a space for healing and growth to take place. And it's important to remember that healing is not linear. It's not a straight line. It has many ups and downs. Believe me, many ups and downs, many failures, many going back to the past, even though you know not to go back. A lot of beating yourself back up for going back. A lot of misbroken trust again and again and again. But not for the ones who just are more logical in their thinking from the get-go. But if you're a bit emotional, sensitive like me, you understand what I'm talking about. So just allow yourself to be more patient. Allow the process of your healing to unfold naturally. Surround yourself with a supportive network of individuals that can hold space for you during this journey, and just seek like-minded people who can offer you guidance and support. And as you delve into the depths of your soul, remember to practice self-care and self-compassion, and it's crucial to prioritize your well-being at this time. On the 20th of February, Mercury enters Aquarius, and there's also Gibbous moon phase. So when Mercury enters Aquarius, it encourages us to be more innovative in our thinking, be more intellectually stimulated, and have a more desire for social connections. It can help us to convey unconventional ideas and promotes us to be more open-minded. On the negative side, we can be detached and distant in our communication, and this can lead to rebellious and unpredictable behaviour. It's a time of refinement and preparation, and also signifies progress and growth toward achieving your goals. It allows you to reflect on your progress so far and make the necessary changes that you need to your strategies. If you want to know more about Mercury in Aquarius, check out the very in-depth explanation I've done of it in the playlist. So yeah, on the 21st of February, the moon enters Cancer. So the moon in Cancer is all about home, whether it's our inner home, our psychological, spiritual, emotional home, our outer home. So we may find ourselves craving to be more within ourselves, be more self-reflective at this time. On the opposite end, it can make us moody, but it can help us really, nurture our connections, have deep and honest conversations with whoever we need to do that with right now, have more empathy and compassion for ourselves and others. But we can be moody and hypersensitive and clingy, so it's important to set healthy boundaries over this time and protect your own and respect others, as people can become overly protective and possessive at this time as well. So the best use of this energy is to embrace the nurturing energy it brings, using this time to connect with yourself and others on a deeper level. Some people may redecorate their homes while the moon's in Cancer for the next 2.5 days, of move things around. It's a good thing for organisation as well, all sorts of things like ancestry research and stuff like that as well. And ultimately, this energy is really effective for inner healing. So just getting to the bottom of your emotional wounds right now and being compassionate with yourself and gentle as you do so. On the 22nd of February, Venus makes a conjunction to Mars, and the moon enters void of course as well. So during Venus's conjunction to Mars, so this is a harmonious alignment between the planet of love, beauty, inner values, and the planet of action and desire and motivation. So, and all our other drives like sexual drives as well. So it ignites passion, creativity and attraction. We can find ourselves more attracted attracted or attractive to other people, whether in intimate relationships or not. So it's good to do creative and artistic projects with our partners, physical activities with our partner. It encourages us, or partners, it encourages us to be more assertive and pursue our personal goals. On the negative end, it can make us just really intense and impulsive because of the increased passionate energy, and this can cause power struggles and disagreements in our relationships right now. So we have to be careful what we say, communicate effectively, respect others' boundaries, and allow other people to sign as well as signing ourselves, and just try not to make energies of at this time or at all really. But yeah, the best use of this Venus's conjunction to Mars is that it allows us to really focus on our creative expression and plans and personal growth. It allows us to be more assertive, go after what we really want, initiate romantic connections, and just assert ourselves, you know. So if you have been feeling like I just can't say that, I want to tell someone how I feel, this can be a good time. Not saying it's going to run smoothly, so don't be blaming me, but it's a good time to speak your mind. So the best use of this energy is just really channeling that passion productively instead of wasting it. Use it towards worthwhile goals and, you know, experiences. Spiritually, it represents the union of the feminine Venus and the masculine Mars within yourself, wanting you to explore within both your strength and vulnerability in your, you know, your character, in your personality. It wants you to just allow yourself to be awakened to the dormant emotions and desires that you may have within yourself, and this can lead to an increased sense of awareness and personal growth. Ultimately, Venus's conjunction to Mars just encourages us to go for what we need to go for, but it's important to listen to our body and avoid burnout and reckless behaviour. Finding healthy outlets for our emotional release, you know, such as practicing mindfulness or engaging in creativity, as I said before. So taking steps to ensure your mental and emotional being are nourished and catered for. So yeah. On the 23rd of February, the moon enters Leo, so we can be more confident and gives us the ability to, you know, put ourselves out there. It's a great energy to allow us to focus on our passions and engage in experiences, activities and people that, you know, sort of make us feel good and boost our self-esteem. But negatively, we can be more ego-driven than normal and prone to seeking attention and validation for others, boring them with our requests. We can become overly dramatic and domineering in our interactions. Other people may demand us to give them praise all the time, so we just have to watch out for craziness in relationships and just try and keep the peace as well. It's essential to balance the need for self-expression with respect for other people's boundaries and opinions right now, while also asserting your own boundaries as well. Ultimately, you know, this energy allows us to sign, but remember not to overpower others. On the 24th of February, there is a full moon in Leo, so check out the separate audio for that. And the moon void, of course, also starts at 10:50 p.m. tonight, GMT time as always, but the full moon happens at 12:31 p.m. just after midday. So yeah, check out separate audio for the full moon in Leo breakdown. And thanks a lot for listening. So yeah, that was the weekly Scope from the 18th to the 24th of February.